RNZ News at 1 o'clock. Morena, good morning, I'm Peter McElwain. Nationals leader Judith Collins has demoted Simon Bridges following an accusation he made offensive comments through a National MP who RNZ understands is Jackie Dean. The shock news came in a media release from Ms Collins last night and is after much speculation that Mr Bridges is considering a tilt at the top job. Mr Bridges is accused of making the remarks at a function several years ago, but Ms Collins says she only just learnt the seriousness of the complaints. She says she had no option but to immediately demote the Tauranga MP and strip him of his portfolio responsibilities with the unanimous support of the board. RNZ has approached Jackie Dean for a response. Border restrictions are being eased early next year. From January the 17th, fully vaccinated New Zealanders and other eligible travellers who test negative before departure will be able to arrive from Australia without going into MIQ, but doing a week's self-isolation instead. From February the 13th, they can arrive from all other countries on the same basis. And from the end of April, the relaxation will be extended to include all foreign travellers. Anyone arriving on this basis will be tested straight away for COVID and will have to test negative again before coming out of self-isolation. The Mayor of Queenstown Lakes says overseas travellers will be more reluctant to visit if the isolation requirement remains in place. From the end of April, fully vaccinated travellers will be able to travel to New Zealand if they meet the public health criteria. Queenstown Lakes Mayor Jim Bolt says it's a step in the right direction, but he says the 7-day isolation requirement will impact the number of visitors.
They've got to be in self-isolation. I don't see great numbers, but if that restriction was lifted, I think we'd see significant numbers starting to come back through, particularly initially out of the Australian market.
Jim Bolt says he hopes the isolation requirement will be removed before then. The joint head of MIQ says the increasing disorder at MIQ facilities is unsurprising, given more sick people are being sent there at short notice. Police figures show a greater than fourfold increase in violence and disorder in MIQ hotels this year compared with last year. Brigadier Rose King says that while border returnees know they are headed to MIQ, it's a shock for the increasing number of people sent there after being diagnosed with COVID-19. She says people can find themselves in a stressful situation as they try to sort out their lives from inside MIQ, and that stress can lead to poor behaviour. A police station and several shops have been set on fire by looters in Solomon Islands after what started in the morning as a peaceful protest turned ugly around mid-afternoon. Videos on social media show police firing tear gas to disperse looters and buildings on fire. RNZ Pacific's correspondent in the capital, Honiara, Georgina Kekia, was in the Kukum area where the police station and shops were set alight, and says police she spoke to say they were not expecting the large crowds which had been at the other end of town to attack their police station.
So when they came out and then they just saw all the protesters there and they have to run into a room and hide. There were about 10 of them. They were in the room when they started breathing in smoke, and they realized that the building has been burnt. So they came out, and the building was burnt down.
Sweden's parliament has elected the country's first female prime minister, the Social Democrat leader Magdalena Andersson. She was previously the finance minister and replaced Stefan Löfven as head of the party after he retired earlier this month. Ms Andersson secured the necessary backing in Sweden's divided parliament in an 11th-hour deal with the opposition Left Party. To sport, the New Zealand Breakers are hopeful they'll be back on court today. The NBL side is self-isolating in Melbourne after Tuesday's confirmation of 4 positive COVID-19 cases in their touring party. With the season only 10 days away, Breakers captain Tom Abercrombie is optimistic the team will be able to return to training today. And managerless Manchester United have qualified for the last 16 of the Champions League after beating Spanish side Villarreal 2-0. Interim boss Michael Carrick dedicated the victory to former manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was sacked on Monday. Already qualified Chelsea beat Juventus 4-0. And that's the news.
Country Life this week's with a couple who started a nursery on their farm. They're using as much recycled material as they can.
Got this really cool cart they've been using to shift the parts around. She's had to have a little bit of a birthday already, a couple of new tyres, and she's a bit wobbly, but it's been perfect for us.
You know, some of us farmers have got fatter fingers and the yarn is good on some of the more delicate jobs, but We can get on the end of a shovel and shove a bit of compost.
Country Life Friday nights at 9 and Saturday mornings after 7 on RNZ National.
On air, online, on digital TV and also iHeartRadio. The Met Service short forecast developed to midnight tonight. Northland to Waikato, including Coromandel Peninsula. A few showers today, more frequent this afternoon, with some possibly heavy in Northland. Bay of Plenty, Taupo and Taihape. Areas of morning cloud, then fine, but isolated afternoon and evening showers. Waitomo to Wellington and also Gisborne to Wairarapa, Bulla, Nelson and Marlborough to Otago. Fine, apart from areas of morning and evening cloud, possible early fog about Canterbury and North Otago. Westland, cloud increasing with isolated showers from afternoon. Fiordland, cloudy with drizzle developing, turning to rain tonight with heavy falls. Southland and Clutha mainly fine with increasing high cloud. However, a few spots of rain at night. Chatham Islands, cloudy at times for you today. This is RNZ National, the time 6 minutes past 1, and our next news and weather at 2. Well, kia ora. Welcome aboard the all-night program. No mai haere mai. If you've just joined me, I'm Peter McElwain, and I'm very pleased to be able to keep you company through until just before 5 a.m. And of course, we have First Up with Nathan Rabevi. On the way this hour, around 1:15. It's episode 3 of our podcast series, Pants on Fire. But now, an acoustic ballad taken from Paul McClaney's 2007 album Diamond Side. It's called Once Upon a Time.